Anna, a 10-year-old girl, unexpectedly appeared to be pregnant. Despite her best efforts, she was unable to fit into her largest jeans. Christy, her mother, was shocked but never thought she would become pregnant. She reassured Anna, suggesting that it was likely just indigestion and that some medicine would set things right. Later that night, Anna found herself in the bathroom, experiencing a wave of nausea that felt reminiscent of morning sickness. Christy panicked slightly, softly stroking Anna's back. Kevin, her dad, swiftly grabbed a towel, making the decision to take Anna to the hospital first thing in the morning. However, the waiting only intensified the situation. As Anna's belly continued to grow, it wasn't long before she lost consciousness in the back seat. In the hospital, doctors conducted a thorough checkup, but the results left everyone in disbelief. Everything in the scans appeared normal, revealing no signs of anything out of the ordinary. Christy was in a state of panic, sharing that Anna was suffering from relentless pain, had been vomiting for weeks, and her stomach was noticeably bloated. "How can that possibly be considered normal?" she inquired. The doctor spoke in a calm manner. "Lactose intolerance is likely the culprit behind the indigestion you're experiencing. That's the reason her stomach suddenly became bloated." Christy found herself even more puzzled, yet there was a sense of relief in having an answer. She and Kevin finally found a moment to unwind. That night, Christy was jolted awake by the sound of Anna's screams and cries. She hurried upstairs to Anna's room and discovered Anna gripping her belly, writhing in pain, drenched in sweat, and filled with fear. They realized they couldn't afford to wait even a moment longer. Without hesitation, they hopped into the car and rushed Anna to the largest hospital in town. Upon arriving at the emergency room, a young doctor casually shrugged and remarked that Anna's symptoms were simply typical acid reflux following a meal. He suggested they simply take more walks after meals, then turned and began to walk away. The couple hurried after him into the hallway, pleading with the doctor to examine Anna once more. The doctor, growing impatient, remarked, "If you don't trust me, perhaps you should consider going to another hospital. Please, let's make the most of our time together." This time, Christy really lost her cool. With tears welling in her eyes, she clutched the doctor, embodying the fierce protectiveness of a mother lion, and expressed her deep anger and fear. Noticing their unwavering determination, the doctor finally relented and agreed to take another look, though he walked away with a hint of reluctance. The couple spent the night in anxious anticipation. As dawn broke, Dr. Berge, the head of pediatrics, entered the room and shared the results with them. However, the very first words he spoke left them in complete shock. Anna experienced a bowel obstruction, a condition where her intestines became twisted and blocked. Without immediate surgery, her life would be at serious risk. Just as they were processing the situation, two nurses entered the room and began preparing Anna for her surgery. A nurse gently lifted a tube and explained to Kevin that they would need to insert it through Anna's nose. She asked him to help keep Anna still during the process. Despite their confidence in being ready, the upcoming moments proved to be far more challenging than they had anticipated, right up until the moment Anna was taken into the operating room. Her parents were filled with a sense of dread and fear, worried that something awful could occur during the surgery. Fortunately, the operation wrapped up swiftly. To their surprise, Anna didn't show any signs of improvement. Her condition took a turn for the worse. During the surgery, Dr. Berge uncovered a significant issue with Anna. Her intestines were completely inactive, not moving food through at all. Her body simply couldn't process anything. What's the most challenging aspect? This disease had no effective treatment available. Anna relied on a tube in her nose to receive the nutrition she needed to survive. Upon hearing that, Christy shut her eyes, a wave of pain washing over her as she hesitated to envision what the future held for her daughter. She interrupted the doctor before he could finish his words. She rose to her feet, seemingly lost in thought, and made her way outside alone. Life was tough. Regardless of their acceptance, it continued on its path. After that point, Anna relied solely on a feeding tube for her nutrition. Aside from a handful of vibrant pills, she found herself unable to consume anything else. Christy made an effort to keep her spirits high, yet each time she caught sight of Anna's face contorted in agony, it was as if a needle was stabbing her heart. Despite the doctor's words that there was no cure for Anna, her parents felt they couldn't simply stand by and watch their daughter endure such pain. Christy began reaching out to every children's hospital she could locate, while Kevin took the drastic step of mortgaging their family farm and selling off many of their possessions just to cover Anna's medical treatments. Yet, after months of effort, it felt as if all those calls had vanished without a trace. No one ever returned the call. Even Christy, who had always radiated optimism, began to feel the weight of despair creeping in. She sank down by the door, murmuring to herself, contemplating that perhaps Anna's destiny was already determined. Despite their best efforts, it seemed that nothing would ever be different. Just as Christy was on the verge of giving up, she noticed the disappointment reflected in her other daughter Abby's eyes. That look made Christy wonder, if parents surrendered so quickly, how could their children ever find the courage to be brave in their own lives? Embracing that realization, Christy finally found the courage to move forward. The following morning, she and Anna boarded a plane bound for Boston. A renowned pediatric doctor was present there. They had always struggled to secure an appointment in the past. This time, Christy made the choice to appear in person. She was determined to stand her ground and not back down easily. When the hospital staff encountered this unexpected mother and daughter, their hearts went out to them. Yet, despite their sympathy, they knew they had to adhere to the established rules. To see a doctor, they needed to schedule an appointment. The soonest opening we could find is at least 6 months from now. Christy was ready for this moment. With a deep breath, she steadied herself, holding back the tears as she quietly walked out of the hospital alongside Anna. Just when they were ready to head home, Christy received an unexpected call from the hospital. She was instructed to bring Anna in for a checkup at 7 a.m. the following morning. It was a mystery why the hospital had a sudden change of heart, but Christy couldn't contain her excitement. Her smile was unstoppable. The following morning, they had the opportunity to meet the leading pediatric doctor in the nation, Dr. Nurko. He mentioned that while he couldn't fully cure Anna's illness, he could provide her with special medicine to aid her digestion, allowing her to no longer rely on the feeding tube and enabling her to lead a normal life. Upon hearing that, Christy released a deep sigh of relief. Dr. Nurko's assured gaze reignited a sense of hope within her, a feeling that had long been absent from her life. However, the doctor unexpectedly shifted his tone. He mentioned that the treatment was merely a short-term solution, and the side effects remained uncertain. Anna would have to go back to the hospital each week for 2 days of observation. Christy fell quiet. The hospital in Boston was almost 2,000 miles from home. The weekly expense of plane tickets alone was quite overwhelming, even before considering the treatment costs. Yet, for the sake of her daughter, she clenched her jaw and agreed. She was ready to take that step. Before long, Anna embarked on the initial phase of her treatment journey. Though her stomach remained swollen, the absence of the feeding tube brought a smile back to her face. As treatment progressed, the side effects became more intense than the doctor had anticipated. Each night, Anna endured excruciating stomach pain. Nothing could stand in its way. Without medicine, without a role, without solace. Day and night, Anna's little body was tormented by pain, and it gradually crushed Christy's heart. In the end, Anna decided to let it go. She ceased eating, declined to bathe, and resisted any form of treatment. Christy felt a wave of frustration wash over her, yet she realized she was completely drained of energy. The lengthy treatments and escalating costs had exhausted this once resilient mother. She sat by the window, feeling a sense of helplessness, picked up her phone, and dialed home. With tears streaming down her face, she turned to her husband and said, "We're done. It's time to bring her home." As Anna prepared to leave, Dr. Nurko took the time to personally escort her to the door. His heart ached, realizing he was powerless to save that innocent little girl. He put on a smile, masking the sadness that lingered beneath the surface. As Anna walked away, Dr. Nurko remained at the entrance, releasing a soft sigh. Yet, despite the immense suffering already endured, destiny had more in store for this child. Upon returning home, Anna sank into a profound depression. Every day, she sat quietly by the door, patiently awaiting her fate. To lift her spirits, her sister Abby led her to the backyard. She proposed they scale the towering tree, just like they did in their childhood days. Initially, Anna hesitated to say no, but Abby offered her gentle encouragement. At last, Anna extended her hand, and before long they found themselves back up in the tree together. The two sisters perched in the tree, taking in the stunning view ahead, joyfully reminiscing about their childhood adventures. At last, Anna smiled, a genuine smile that had been absent from her face for quite some time. At that moment, the sturdy branch beneath them gave way, splitting apart with a resounding crack. The noise sent chills down their spines. Abby urged Anna to take the lead, encouraging her to ascend toward the heart of the tree for safety. Then, in an instant, something unimaginable occurred. Upon hearing Abby scream, Kevin quickly grabbed a ladder and hurried to her side. He propped it against the tree and gazed into the hollow trunk. Yet the tree was shrouded in darkness, its depths an impenetrable pitch black. In that moment, he found himself engulfed in darkness, a wave of panic washing over him, leaving him feeling utterly helpless. He dialed 911. Just 10 minutes later, firefighters rushed to the scene, ready to begin the rescue efforts without hesitation. However, it ended up being much more challenging than I had anticipated. The tree stood tall and ancient, a living testament to time, making it clear that cutting it down was not an option. That could put Anna at an even greater risk of injury. The safest choice was to employ an aerial ladder, carefully lifting her out from above. Despite the firefighters giving their all, the reporters who arrived on the scene seemed far from hopeful. The towering tree stood at over 30 feet, and Anna had tumbled headfirst into its hollow trunk. Her chances of survival appeared almost non-existent. As the words slipped out about Anna possibly being dead, Christy instinctively clutched her chest, her eyes wide with disbelief as they scanned the room. She parted her lips, yet silence enveloped her. The fear of losing her daughter broke the resilient, optimistic woman she had always been. Overcome with emotion, Christy approached the tree, sank to her knees, and rested her forehead against the sturdy trunk. She pleaded with the heavens for compassion, hoping to save her precious little girl. Those around were deeply touched. One by one, people approached, coming together around Christy to offer heartfelt prayers for Anna. They held on to the hope that perhaps a miracle might just occur. After what felt like an eternity, Anna was finally rescued from the tree. As her limp body was carefully placed on the ground, she resembled a lifeless rag doll. Kevin and Christy felt their hearts twist with fear, dreading that what they were about to receive might be nothing more than a cold, lifeless body. Just when they thought all hope was gone, a miracle unfolded before them. When Christy discovered that her daughter was still alive, her knees buckled and she nearly fell to the ground. However, the true surprise was still on the horizon. The doctors were left in disbelief after conducting a thorough examination. Anna had plummeted almost 30 feet from the tree, but remarkably, she emerged without a single head injury or even a scratch. All she needed was a bit of glucose to lift her energy, and then she could head home. Christy found herself puzzled by it. It simply didn't add up. However, the following morning, yet another miracle unfolded. She observed that Anna's stomach had settled back to normal, and with a big smile, Anna exclaimed that she was craving barbecue. Christy barely had a moment to enjoy her success. She swiftly brought Anna to Boston for a thorough checkup with Dr. Nurko. Upon examining the results, even Dr. Nurko found himself at a loss for words. In the span of a single night, Anna's body had miraculously healed. No scientific explanation existed. Back home, Anna's story captured everyone's attention and spread like wildfire. It was widely thought to be a divine intervention. The media flocked in, and before long, Anna's entire family found themselves invited to share their story at church. As Christy stood there, gazing at the sea of hopeful faces, words eluded her. Deep down, she understood that the miracle was more than just God making an appearance. Their journey was marked by the kindness they encountered along the way. It was Anna's classmate who always saw her for who she truly was. The waitress was kind-hearted, offering them discounts when they found themselves short on cash for food. The ticket agent at the airport cleverly pretended that the system had glitched, allowing them to use expired coupons to purchase flights. The hospital receptionist took a bold step, putting her job on the line to fit Anna in for an early appointment. Their neighbor discreetly tucked her baby away in the car, hoping to keep the cries from interrupting Anna's peaceful slumber. As Christy spoke, tears welled up in her eyes. She wasn't certain about the existence of God, but she understood the power of kindness, courage, strength, and unconditional love. Those were the most stunning miracles in existence.